Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett been checking the forecast and tracking everything very closely for us. So, Trevor, I think the biggest question here is how much of the accumulation, whether we get sleet, ice, and snow, people want to know how much is going to fall.
Yeah, well, it depends on exactly what falls, right? Snow's going to pile up a little more. So the areas that see more snow, they're going to see more stuff on the ground.
Right.
Sleet, once it starts to fall, kind of squishes that number down just a little bit. But I'll tell you this, everybody's going to get something. Everybody's going to have travel trouble. So regardless of what you see, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, stay home if you can, really. Just stay off the roads. But, you know, some people will have to go out there. But definitely be safe whatever you do.
Yeah, take it easy this weekend if you can. We do have that weather impact alert. This could start to move in late Friday night, late tomorrow night by, let's say, 10 or 11 p.m. But I really think the biggest impact is going to be by Saturday morning. So the daytime tomorrow looks fine if you're going to work or school. I do not expect issues tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday are going to be the biggest concerns with that significant winter storm. The mix of snow, sleet, and ice like we talked about, but again, regardless of exactly what kind of winter weather you see, you are all going to see travel impacts, and a few of us could even see power outages, especially for those areas that see mainly ice. Again, tomorrow looks okay for those last-minute preps, that last-minute run to the store for a couple of items. I don't expect anything during the day. We'll get to 37. Saturday and Sunday, though, that's when we expect the biggest impact as that winter storm rolls through. It's going to be kind of a two-day winter storm. But also notice the cold, 16-degree your low temperature this weekend. 21 is your high for Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to barely get out of the 20s this weekend, barely over 20. And that means whatever does fall is going to stick. Ice storm warning, that's in effect for North Mississippi. That's where we think the highest probability of that freezing rain turning to ice is. That would be Batesville, Oxford, Corinth, even up to Selmer and Bolivar. The further north you go, the more it becomes snow and sleet. So that's why there's a difference in warnings here. The winter storm warning is more for that sleet and snow mix, and that includes us here in Memphis and DeSoto County, most of West Tennessee and eastern Arkansas. I still can't rule out a little freezing rain making it closer to Memphis. I still think the biggest concern for us is going to be the sleet. So it's not going to be too much of a snowstorm in Memphis. I hate to burst your bubble, but this is going to be a lot of sleet that falls, those little sleet pellets. There could be some snow at times. I still think there's going to be accumulation, but certainly more sleet right around Memphis. To the north, that's where maybe a little bit more snow is going to come down. Looking at Dyersburg, Blytheville, could be mostly snow there with some sleet. To the south, though, that's what I'm really concerned about. All of this is going to be a mess. An ice storm could be catastrophic. We are talking major ice accumulation through North Mississippi. That's going to lead to longer, more widespread power outages and even worse issues on the roadways. Right now, I'm keeping that mainly in North Mississippi, but all of this could shift a little bit, and it's going to wobble a little bit during the event. So there is a time we could see some freezing rain in Memphis, but we can all hope for sleet. Sleet's not great, but I'd much rather have sleet instead of that freezing rain and ice. Again, freezing rain is when it looks like it's raining, but it freezes into a solid sheet of ice on pretty much everything. That includes branches, limbs, power lines, kind of weighs those down, and it leads to big time power outages. Sleet, that's just those little ice pellets. You know what snow is. This is going to make the roads bad. This is going to make the roads terrible, and it's going to last longer as well. So we can all hope that we mainly see sleet, but many of us in North Mississippi could end up seeing freezing rain. You'll see that on the hour by hour here, starting off about Saturday at 1 in the morning. Snow is starting. We could start off with some snow in Memphis, but you're going to notice as we get into Saturday afternoon, that sleet line starts to move north. That purple zone, that's where those little sleet pellets will be falling. So 10 a.m. Saturday, maybe some snow and sleet mix in here, but you're going to notice through the day Saturday, especially by Saturday night, ice starts to creep in. That's your freezing rain, that pink in Oxford and Corinth. That's where we're going to have those icing concerns develop. Notice how close that gets to Memphis by Sunday morning at 3 a.m. I can't rule out that Memphis sees a little more ice. I'm keeping it mainly sleet right now. Look at all that purple in there. But if that line comes any further north into Memphis, it's going to make a bad situation even worse. So prepare for it just in case. I do think Memphis mainly sees sleet, though. The freezing rain, the biggest concern, like we talked about, kind of down in North Mississippi. So as far as how much, well, for us in Memphis, with the sleet mixed in, we could still see 3 to 5 inches of sleet and snow mixed in. Any of that freezing rain could cut down on that a little bit, though. Notice where that freezing rain is expected, your snow and sleet totals go down because you're going to see more ice. Off to the north, if you see a little more snow, places like Blytheville, Truman, Dyersburg, you could see 4 to 7 inches of that snow and sleet mix. Again, ice right now, most likely in North Mississippi, 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of ice. That is a very big deal. This would be a very big ice storm if it comes to fruition. So again, we can all hope that we see mainly sleet down there. Sleet would be better news. It would still be rough, but I would take the sleet any day over this. This would be a very bad situation for North Mississippi and even into Selmer. Again, maybe a little freezing rain in Memphis, but if this comes any further north, we could have a really big problem here in the city with this kind of ice. Just to give you some perspective, 1/10 of an inch, which is what we could see in Memphis, that's enough to glaze up the roads. You get to 1/4 of an inch of ice, which is what most of us in North Mississippi could see. That's when tree limbs start to break and you have big time power outages. 1/2 an inch of ice, which is what we have on the map for places like Oxford and Corinth, that's when power poles start to come down and trees start to come down. Travel pretty much impossible. So that's going to make a really bad situation even worse if we do get up to 1/2 an inch of ice. To make matters worse, it's bitterly cold. Highs only in the 20s through the weekend and Monday. So whatever falls is going to stay there. And if we have power outages, it is going to be dangerously cold without any heat. We barely get above freezing on Wednesday, but before that, wind chills will be in the single digits. So this is when we're talking about some folks could be without power. We're going to have wind chills in the single digits, maybe below 0 by early next week. So again, hopefully we get sleet. Hopefully your power stays on. But be prepared just in case, because if your neighborhood gets some of that ice like we expect in North Mississippi and you lose power, it's going to be a rough situation with these temperatures. Better to be safe than sorry. Just plan ahead and prepare. We've got one more day tomorrow, high of 37. This weekend is a mess. Stay home. Snow, sleet, freezing rain all over the place. High of only 21 this weekend. We do see the sunshine come back Monday, but a morning low of 4 and a high of 20. Only 3 degrees Tuesday morning. We barely get above freezing on Wednesday, but I don't expect much improvement because we go back below freezing by Thursday.